Hi, Jules. How you doing? Good to hear it. Well, you're the one that wanted this one this early, so should we get cracking? Okay, right. Can you see me? You can. Okay. Um, so just to let you know, we're obviously going to be recording this one-sided as we agreed. So I'll be making sure the details are sort of for yourself. I'm not going to be mentioned on the call because we're recording this. Okay, we're going to use it for um, marketing purposes in quotes. So just so people can actually see what the process is actually like. So thank you very much for that. That's much appreciated. Um, if you've got any questions, then just type them in the chat and I'll answer them as we go along. If there's anything that's sensitive information, anything like that, I'll basically make sure that I'll respond to you, but without talking, or I'll write it if it's a general question on the actual whiteboard that you can see now. Okay? Right. If you can hear the groaning noise in the background, I'm totally sorry about that. That's the dog. I get up at 4:30 and take him out, and unfortunately, he makes quite a lot of noise. But I can't really change that. Anyway, so let's crack on. So this is basically the scientific marketing makeover, and it's really for you to be able to get an idea how you'd present a marketing message. Whether it was on Facebook, Google, it doesn't really matter. The point being is that it'll give you an idea to the information that you need to be able to give that to an agency so that they can market for you, whether that, depending on what platform you're on, but it will make sure that it actually has a chance of working. That's the whole point of this, okay? Okay, yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, fantastic. Cool. Then, as you can see on the screen, I've got one or two blanked out things in red. I'm basically going to see if I can get this sorted out for a moment. Some technical stuff here, just sharing stuff that Windows in the way, etc. One sec. There we go. So we're just going to remove them and I'll go through them one at a time. So your target market is basically something that a lot of people talk about, but they don't explain to you why you actually need it as a small business owner, or actually in general why it's used. A lot of the time, if you think about it this way, if you have a product or service, okay, then you need to be defining for each and every product or service that you're going to be selling a target audience, so that you're talking to one person. It's a bit like me talking to you right now, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. So that's what it's for, and that's what you're basically looking to do. And it is basically, to put it bluntly, stereotyping. I know that's something that people don't really like talking about these days, but that is, from marketing purposes, that is what it is. So you were talking about stereotyping the people from a demographic perspective, from psychological perspective, how old they are, where they live, what age they are, what sex they are, what race they are. I know people don't like to hear that, but that is actually true if you're talking about this type of thing, because I'm sure you'll have heard the sort of thing, if you're not talking to a person directly, like you and I are now, then you're basically talking to nobody. It's that sort of mentality. Like, so for example, just name me a friend of yours. Okay, so you're talking to your friend. How do you speak to her? Exactly. So it's personal. You know them. You speak each other's language. You know each other's sort of whims and foibles, if you'd like to call it that. Okay. So it's personal, and it should be, because if you're actually talking to somebody, you need to make sure that you're talking to a person, and that's really important. Too many people forget about the fact that actually this whole point of all of this is that you're actually trying to solve a problem for somebody. So in your particular case, you said that you got challenges in trying to make your marketing services work for a particular service provider that's helping you, an agency that's helping you market, and it just doesn't seem to be working. Now, that isn't necessarily their fault as such. I'm sure it goes both ways. It's one of these things where Everybody makes mistakes, and if you're not prepared for it as a small business owner, how to actually market to give them the right information. I would have expected, though, perhaps that they would have asked you a set of questions. But the most important one to start off with is that you actually do that for either for a personal perspective or for your business. Now, they should actually know that, so they should have asked you that. Did that occur? Okay. So it was more general. Okay. Well, if you are talking about your services, so do you want to just give me? Okay. 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 Right. So, okay, I'll just do a quick aside here. So if you're talking about, I'm saying for every product or service, so if literally, 1 second, give me a moment. So literally, if you're talking about product number 1, 2, 3, just say it's for your perspective, this is a haircut. I know you probably name it differently. You're a lady, I get that. But I'm just going to simplify just so that it's understood or understandable for a 5-year-old. That's actually something that's quite important. So I know that everybody will understand the jargon, but if it's a customer, they won't, or it needs to be a word that they would use. So whatever that may be. So let's say I'm just going to be old-fashioned here. I'm going to say perm. I presume they don't apply anymore, and then products that you'd offer afterward, something like that. Okay. And see, so the point of that being is if you look at what that does, it basically saves you time, effort, and energy and money, because if you're marketing to a particular person, and whatever platform it happens to be, whether that's Google, whether that's YouTube, whether that's Facebook, then you want to be speaking to them. And if you are being general about it, then you are talking to the crowd. And how often have you tried to shout in a crowd to get anybody's attention? It just doesn't work. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I realize that you use different, your products are named differently. I just don't want to put them on this call. Okay, cool. But you've got the idea. So that basically, if you write down those 3 things, okay, do you want to just do that now? Cool. I'll give you a second. Sure. Okay, cool. Right. So you've written down those 3 things. Now, the important thing here is how will your customer name those things, not how you'd name them. So a simple way of doing it is if you're talking, just 1 second, I'm just going to turn something on. So a simple way of doing this is just by thinking it's a 5 or 6-year-old that's actually going to purchase it. How would they describe it? So do you want to just change those sentences you've written down so that a 5 or 6-year-old could understand them? I know it sounds a bit naff, but try it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So I'll give you a couple of seconds and just let you do that. And I'll just move on to the next slide while we're talking. Okay, cool. So me being a simple man, so apologies for that. I like to have something that I can refer to. So that's what you've just been doing now, which is basically identifying the person, the service. Um, the avatar is basically exactly what it says it is, just like in the film, but in the sense of what we're talking about: age, sex, gender, where they come from, where they live, places to hang out in, and then it's tailoring that message, which is just what you've been doing just now. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Now, of course, there's one thing that we all know. You need to also consider who are your best customers. Now, there's different types of best customer. So that it's purchasing power, it's the amount of times, it may be the amount of times they actually come and visit your place, the amount of money they spend, the amount of value that they bring to your business. So that might be different for each and every one of them, but consider that in your message as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So best is your definition of a customer. It's not something, usually 99% of the time it would be say, okay, so who are your top buyers? Who are they? How often do they turn up? When do they turn up? What are the things that they ask for? Have they actually asked you for anything that you don't provide as a service, but it would be something that perhaps would be provided? Think about that type of thing. And that would be something that would be then be getting from a marketing perspective, get new customers of that type through the door. Okay. Now, I suppose I've put this in here because I know that you do actually do marketing as such, and in your particular case, you've got an agency where I know you're paying quite a lot of money to them each month to actually get customers through your door. So this is more a question of refining that message to make sure that they can actually serve you better. That's the whole point of it. Is that right? It is. Okay. Okay, I'll answer that question. Don't, I'm not an agency. Okay, I do mentoring. It's something that I'm quite comfortable doing. I can recommend some other parties that will be able to help you, but I don't do marketing as like a marketing agency. I'm just mentoring. It's business scaling that I do. Okay. So this is just to be able to help you so you can get back on track and get them to actually produce the results you want. I know that you said that this was only in the last sort of 2 or 3 months. I'll tell you from a marketing perspective that if you are targeting a particular audience set, that after a certain amount of time they'll get tired of it. It's just a matter of renewing that. If you go through this process, which we're going through now, then they should be able to do that, and then those results will then go back to the way I think they were beforehand. I think you just need to have that conversation. You provide this the guys with the information that you've just written down, then it will help you. And once we finish this, you'll definitely be able to give them something they can work with. Okay, cool, fantastic. Right, so I'm just going to hop to the next page. Okay, right, and this is won't necessarily be relevant to you, all of it. So I'm just going to get rid of some of this. Just a quick explanation about. I know that you've obviously got Facebook page. You use Instagram. You can also use Google and search so AdWords. It would apply the information that you're using now. It's the same type of thing. It's just more targeted in the sense that Google search, it's very narrow band. So it's usually somebody typing something in, and just like you're when you're on Google yourself, you're typing something in and say, where can I find da da da? How do I do X, Y, Z? That if that would, for example, if it's on YouTube, that's quite typical. And on LinkedIn, obviously, business, it's a different type of thing. Now, in the old world, things like that, they were very sort of broad. So if you were talking about print, TV, radio, billboards, and posters, the like physical ones, you paid up front and paid a lot of money. As you know, since you do Facebook and Instagram marketing, that isn't all that expensive to start off with. I think you spend. Okay. Yeah, so it's not an arm and a leg, and that's basically because they've defined an audience for you, which you hadn't specified that for them in the past. No. Okay, so I'd say the simplest way to make this work would be to take the first product that you listed, the one that brings you the most profit and gets you the most bums on seats, and then clarify that message or clarify that target market for that particular product. And you said what had been most successful. Then don't try and fix something that isn't broken. So go with Facebook, use that. If that works, that's fine. Instagram's a good thing because it's a simple fact that customers can see who you are. Since March of this year, I'd say that the simplest way to actually prove to people that it's safe is you can do something like a time-lapse video of the store. It's that simple. So literally just hang a message outside of there saying you're filming today, there's no sound, etc. And you basically hold time-lapse day or half day, 2 hours, whatever it happens to be, and put that up on Facebook or on YouTube as a short time-lapse video. And then people can actually say, okay, that's the way it is. It's all safe. You've got all the things in place that you should have from a government, a government perspective, etc. Okay, this is not going to apply to you, so you can ignore this bit. So if it's not, yeah, obviously you market yourself. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that you understand that. Okay, but since in some instances, with some people, they're not too sure, especially if they haven't marketed on Facebook or Instagram, YouTube, anything like that before. It's slightly different. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I know I can't say that I particularly like you doing this, and this is just me talking to you. But there's got to be a way of actually demonstrating to people that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, the results that you're actually getting. I think that's something that you need to prove to people, and you can put things. So, for example, yeah, YouTube. So if you're doing something like YouTube and you wanted to actually, you wouldn't, if you're a particular haircut that happens to be hip, that happens to be sort of, something that you've seen on Instagram, etc., then you can get one of your lasses to actually do a haircut like that, and ask a person if they could just film it. You don't need to show the person's face. This thing, you can actually edit the video if you want to, or blend out their face so that you can just see the haircut, okay? So it doesn't need to be a sort of show and tell, oh, I'll get one of these. So they don't have to worry about that. If you want to, there's software editing, software out there that's fairly simple that will allow you to do that type of thing. It'll still demonstrate that you guys can do that, and that's something you do. A simple way of actually then reproducing that is doing that once every week or something, or once every month, and then doing a different hairstyle each month. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. Me talking around this, but I mentioned it. This is more for the internet. Sorry about that. It's just listing the facts about the differences between sort of old school marketing, or the way of actually marketing, and the way the new world is. You obviously know that, so I'm not going to sort of preach to the crowd there, but it is hyper-targeted. That means that once you complete this, you should be able to get customers through the door that are your perfect customer. That's simply down to the fact that you've got a clear audience that you're speaking to on a one-to-one basis, and that's quite important. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, to make sure it's clear to people what I do. And thank you very much for helping me. That's really kind of you. Now, I do know that you guys, you've got a certain product set, yeah, from what I remember. Apart from the first one we were talking about, the major one they actually sell. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit like a menu at a restaurant. The more choices you have, the more difficult it gets for human beings to make those choices. So if you have a clear set that you actually then sell in store, so if you've got the stuff that's on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and you then present that perhaps as a picture or a cut in to one of the videos, each time that everybody sort of gets the idea, okay, this is what we do, this is what we can do, this is what we specialize in. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that will pay dividends, because the marketing company the agency that looks after you will be able to tailor that message towards those 3-4 things, whatever that may be. Yeah, I mean, to start off with, I'd suggest that you just stick to one product, one customer, and so that really the objective of this, and that's something you need to make clear to them, and we'll get to that in a minute or two, is what's the objective of the campaign that they're going to be running? Because if they don't know that, they're not going to be able to deliver. Okay, so it's bums on seats. Fair enough. Okay, cool. If that's the case, then make that absolutely clear to them up front. Okay? When you hand over the sentences that we just talked about, yeah, clear to a 5-year-old what your demographics look like, so age, where they live, what type of person they are, maybe the objections they have, maybe the products that they use, etc., that type of thing, as detailed as possible. I'll send you over an actual template how to do that, so that it's easy afterwards, and then you don't have to break your brains now. so we're actually watching what we're doing here. Yeah, it's a one pager. Yeah, it's basically for so if you look at things like Facebook, they're allowed to target on certain things. So if there's a list of about 20 or 30 different, there's placements where they actually locate them in Facebook. So whether it's in stream on the right, whether it's a messenger ad, that type of thing. So there's a number of them. And then for the demographics side of it, there's a number of different selections. And basically what I've done is I've put those all on one pager for you. So you'll just be able to like circle them or fill out the box. Okay. Yeah, just because I can't, I'm not going to say I'm an expert at marketing on Facebook. I'm not. I do know how to scale companies. That's something I'm good at, like I said. But I've built the platforms for this type of thing, so I can take the mechanics of it to pieces, and I can demonstrate that and just say, right, okay, they are going to need this because that is what they have to fill out. It's that simple. So it's so that it's idiot proof for them, and it's clear to you what you've asked them and told them to do. So they should be able to translate that then directly into a Facebook marketing ad for you, for example. Yeah. So I'll just repeat that so the people hear this. So you're asking, is it better with photos? They were talking about what? Sorry, what a carousel ad. Okay, I mean, I take video over everything else simply because of the fact that you can see the way the person is when they're actually interacting with you. Okay, I do that. That's my personal preference. You can see who the people are. You can't fake it. And it shows how the people are treated. Whereas a photograph is like, Yeah, exactly. It's somewhat different than me talking to you on the telephone or on Zoom in this case. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they also should be telling you then the results, and it should be fairly simple. Your end result is that bum on a seat, so it's the sales. So you will need to be asking them. They should be able to provide this for you, definitely, 100%. What the cost is for marketing for that particular campaign, and how much it costs them to get one person to book with you guys. Okay, that is possible. They should have asked you for setting up of a Facebook pixel, and they should have sorted that out for you and set that on your website or on your booking site. Okay, okay, they did that. Right, cool. So they can definitely tell you that number. So you should be able to calculate exactly how much money you'd spend and how much money you spend on marketing to then get a customer. Okay. Right. So, okay. So if your average, can I say how much the average? Yeah. Okay. So just let's say I'll give you as a range. So it's 150 to 200 pounds per session. Okay. For the service that you provide, your number one service. Yeah. That means that would you be willing to spend what's the amount you're willing to spend to get the 150 to 200 pound purchase price in your store? Okay, so basically they need to be delivering those results under that number. So if that's 75 pounds, then okay, it's 50, right? Okay, so they need to be delivering that under 50 pounds. If they're not, they need to work with you together. Can't do it alone. It's a two-way street to get that price point down, and they should know how to do that. There are ways to do that. A lot of it's got nothing to do with Facebook mechanics or Google mechanics or anything like that. It's more to do with the message, which is why we're going through this. Okay, and certain components of it. Right. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. So I'm just talked about the agency, but the things that we'd already been talking about. So your list of products, services, your process. So they're basically hitting the booking button on in Facebook, aren't they? Or on your website. Okay. Right. And then once that booking comes in, there's no interaction otherwise. It's just literally straight into your calendar. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you can hear the dog, he snarls. He's a pug. You can't help it. Sorry about that. And I don't want to kick him out. He's not feeling too well today. So though in this particular case, then you don't need to worry about. See, so you don't need to worry about. See this here, not relevant to you, and the price points we'd already talked about, so that's not relevant. So it's, and you've got this defined, which is basically just goes straight to your bookings page. Now, are you picking up the telephone number as well on the bookings page as a requirement? You're not. So it's just the email address. Okay, I'd suggest in that particular case then that you actually ask for the telephone number and just put a message underneath it saying, this is why, because everybody's busy. I don't know about you, but you know, if you've got kids, life can get really busy, then getting a text message saying your appointment's tomorrow on your phone is a lot better than an email. Yeah, exactly. I think the text response rates at the moment for things like for for text messages are between about 80 to 90%. Some say they're above, but I mean, you know, if it's from a number that you know. So the simplest way of doing that is, if once the people have actually come in, they've seen you guys, I'd say, would you like to add that number to your contacts? And then they know when that message comes in, okay, that's from you. Or you can actually put it on the webpage and say, okay, type in your phone number and add us to your contacts so you can see when we send you a reminder for your appointment, and just offer them that. And then that should make everybody's life a lot simpler. Yeah. You can also send people things like offers per text. Somebody, I don't know if it's the birthday, for example. Facebook's very good at that. You can make somebody a birthday offer, which is a really nice thing. Or you can just text them something and say, all right, okay, you're in last week. Would you like to rebook your appointment for in the next 3 months, something like that, just so that it's a personal touch. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Right. So this is a bit more about the whole process, the actual message itself. This is, let's go through this one by one. So we talked already about the target market. In your particular case, I'm just going to get rid of this. So you're not doing this. Oops. Let's do this again. So in your particular case, you're not doing this. You are using this. You are using Instagram and you are using Facebook. That's fantastic. But mainly you're using Facebook for ads. Okay, cool. Right. So, and it's driving it to a landing, it's driving it to actually not a landing page in our case, but it's a bookings page. But that is on your website. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we'll do after this is we'll go, if you can send me the information with regard to the headline on the page. Now, these things, if you go through, I'll take you through, I'll send you a number of headlines that you can use. I've got about 48 or something, but they have a particular format. Now, if you format them and use one of those headlines, believe me, you will find one that fits for your customers or for your service. Then that should help you. It's basically hooked to make sure they actually book the appointment. And the other thing is you need to have a differentiator. Now let me just check here, make sure I'm in the right file. Okay, cool. So your differentiator, it's literally what the word says. So let's just go to the next page. I'm just going to see if we can get a new one. A sec. Bear with me, I'll get there in a second. There we go. So if somebody asks you in your business, for your business, what do you do? What do you say? Okay. Right. Okay. Now, you know, we went through this, the business. Sorry, my machine is slowing down. So we went through your products. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. But in this particular case, you're doing it on a personal level for your business as well. So if you look at and it's again, it's like the message should be a paragraph. Oh, well, let's say 10 words long. One paragraph. One page. Okay. And it's got to, again, be simple enough for a 5-year-old. Yeah, it's like my writing. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So for a 5-year-old to understand, exactly. So if you could pick those 10 words, what would they be? Okay, guys, just for everybody on the internet, I'm not going to be saying what Julie's saying here, so I'll let her formulate that. I'm just going to listen to her. Okay, sorry, Jules. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's your 10 words. That's what you'd say. It doesn't need to be exact. It's just to make it keep it short. It's a one-liner, if you'd like to call it that. See if I can get this thing to actually work. Sorry, this is the fact that my writing is like a 5-year-old, but also the fact that my computer is flatlining, I think, possibly. Yeah, yes, it is. Right, so, and again, you can do this later. I'll send you some information on how to formulate these things. I'll give you the guide to this. So it'll make life a lot simpler. It's a one page that sort of explains the process rather than going through this in the call, okay? But the one liner is the main thing that you want. You want it for you personally, so who you are, yeah? And then for your business. That is meant to be a cross, that's meant to be an arrow. So a one-liner for you personally, the thing that makes you different to the rest of the hairdressers in the area. What products or services or offers that you make. So these can be things, let's have a look. I'm just going to a new page, 1 sec. So these can be things such as what type of guarantees do you offer that may be different than your customer? Sorry, different than your competition. What offers do you make that are special? Are they monthly ones? Do you do birthdays? Mother's Day? But something special, so it sort of stands out. Okay. Okay, so you do these already. Okay. Is that in? Do you stuff? Is that something you just tell the people in store? Okay, so you definitely need to be telling your agency that what they are. Yeah, that's fantastic. You're doing that. And birthdays again are also in person. Again, you need to be telling your agencies, letting them know that. Okay. And if you wish to offer things like Mother's Days, etc., then the same type of thing. Do you offer anything for sort of the younger generation as well? Okay. What about the mum coming in with their little one and they basically get their haircut together? How does that sound? I'm not talking about a teenager. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about when they actually want to do it, but it can be quite difficult, obviously, getting babysits, etc. Time with you know, I mean, you always want to spend more time with the kids, right? Exactly, you can make that an experience. And you could basically then also target the people with daughters that would like to do that type of thing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're talking about guaranteeing offers. Obviously, don't ever do this. Don't try and differentiate on price, because the internet never forgets. So if you start doing this and you've got that on your web page, etc., and then you need to change or wish to change your prices, you're not going to be able to do it anywhere. That just ends up like a race to the bottom, and that's not, from my understanding, where you want to be. Okay, yeah, discounts are fine. Yeah, sure, but don't offer them straight away. Offer them as loyalty or as something for a special occasion, for a limited time. Has that given you enough ideas to sort of write that, at least start? Yeah, and I'll send you the one pager. I'm just writing that down so I remember. One pager to Jules. Yeah, sure. Okay. Cool. Let's just wrap this one. Check I'm completed everything. Yes, I have. So let's just go back. Right. So I'm just going to swap. Sorry about technical stuff. I'm just going to get rid of this stuff here. Bear with me a second. So the offers we talked about, guarantees we talked about. Now, if you've got a set of irresistible offers or your guarantees sound, so if you have the feeling that it sounds as though they sound too good to be true, then with every guarantee that you make, you need to be giving them a reason why. Yeah, I mean, it's the typical thing everybody has, you know, that sounds too good to be true. Do I believe that? Yeah, if you know them, it's a different matter, of course. Yeah, yeah, sure. But this is, for example, people, if they've never known you before, they've literally ran into your ad on Facebook, and if there's no reasons why in it, then you're going to have some real problems. Yeah, it's just so the irresistible offers and guarantees. So irresistible offers, the emotional part of it, and that every message has got to be emotional. That's just the way we are as human beings. The emotions kicking first, and our reason comes afterwards, as I'm sure you well know. With men, that's obviously it's a lot more obvious, but everybody's actually wired that way. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's a friend of mine. He's a doctor, and he's terrible at making decisions because he's incredibly logical. He's absolutely terrible because he just is, his emotional side of it is just almost zero. He's a lovely guy, but yeah, it's the emotional thing that usually makes the decision. And certainly in marketing, it's really important. So but if you've got that and you've got them something that sounds as though it's too good to be true, then you need to make sure that you can actually give them a good reason to articulate it and make sure it's accessible to the person. So it's all rationalize and articulate. So that's the idea. Okay, so just like that here. So it's reasons why it's rationalizing. And articulating. One second. I have to get my mouse out of the way. And articulating that. Yeah, I mean, if you find that difficult, then your ads agency should be able to actually help you with that. They should be really good at this. I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Because you said that they delivered in the past. So if you want to you give them a list of your offers and guarantees with that differentiator, then you should then be able to. They'll say, "Oh well, we'd like to change this, that." Then have that conversation with them. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. If they want to get in touch. Yeah. Yeah. They can go to the bookings page. If you go on to small and local business, and you click the the bookings button. Yeah, I know it says. Yeah, it says 233 quid. Just tell them to click on that button, and then there's a notes section, and just say that it's with regard to this session. Yeah, then I know what it is, and it's not a problem. No, you're not going to ask. They're not going to ask you ask for a credit card there. No. It's just a number. It's so that basically I focus on delivering to my customers and my clients. It's that simple. So I don't get random calls from marketing companies, etc. Yeah, no, no, I don't like them either. Right. Okay. So with that said, so yeah, sure, they can get in touch. Features and benefits. It's something that very often people don't. They list them sort of randomly, but these two really need to be paired. So just let me make sure I get that. Look. So let's do a new page. Let's do that. Okay, cool. So features are the facts, right? That's the simple way of putting it. And benefits are exactly what they say they are. And these are the things that are actually important to the customer, to yourself. So if you buy something, the car's got to have wheels. So but it's a feature. But the benefit is it makes it a car. Oh, if it's got an engine, of course. Perhaps not a good example, but you get the idea. Okay. But the thing is these two, the trick is to have them listed. So you've got like a feature list. So if you literally just take a piece of paper or paper, or open up your laptop, wherever it happens to be, write down a set of features, and then beside them write the benefits to the customer. Yeah, no, I'll do that again. My spelling's terrible sometimes. Ooh. So feature list. Which is basically just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. And then on the other side, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Don't make them long, make them really simple. And then here, benefits. Now, the cool thing is I'm sure you've seen in any emails that you get from, well, when people are trying to sell stuff, there's a bulleted list in there. Now, if they're listing, that's what they're going to be listing in any of those emails or in an ad, it would be the benefits. Okay. So if you can just think, if you just take, let's just an example. Do you want it to just take top 3 off the top of your head? Yeah. Sure. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so out of that, they look beautiful. Or feel beautiful. Look and feel beautiful. Yeah. That's the benefit. They're happy, yes. So you need to craft something around this. Yeah, I've got a guide for it. So just one sec. Set guide for FAB. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So you've got basically feature 1, feature 2. These are the facts. Yeah. Feature 3. And then, yeah, like you said, they look beautiful and feel fantastic. Feel fantastic. They're happy because, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got the idea. Right. So I'll send you that guide through. Okay. Okay, doke. Fantastic. So that's features and benefits. So that will be something that your agency can use as well. Let's just jump back to the page. Okay. Oh, social proof and a call to action. Right. So I'm just going to do these in one swoop. Okay. So you've got your headline, a differentiator, your offers, guarantees, your reasons why, your features and benefits, social proof. Right. So I'd say the simplest social proof in your particular case is that video that we were talking about. Oops, just give me a moment. It doesn't need to be hours long. And you can put them on YouTube. Yeah, just ask the people, literally, ask them if you can film them, and then get them to sign a one-pager that's a consent form. No, it doesn't have to be. No, it doesn't have to be anything. It can be a paragraph with a signature. That's all you need. And anyway, these are going to be people you know. Okay. And they can then see the edit before you post it. Yeah. Yeah, I really would do that. Yeah, who likes seeing stuff that up online, if there's some shot or angle or something where people say, oh, I don't want anybody to see that. No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, everybody has a bad hair day at the beginning of it. Everybody walks out beautiful, I'm sure. Once they've completed. Oh yeah, exactly. Once they've been with you, they all look beautiful. Yes, I agree. Yes, I'm sure the ladies look beautiful anyway, but yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So just let them see the edit, and that is I would use as your social proof. Social proof, though, can be many things. So you can get things. We teach systems to use these, so to create. So we've got a process for that. How you can actually collect them. You can either use video, and you have consent forms. And when somebody's really happy, you can ask them, uh, "Can we just film this?" You know, going forward as a process. There's a whole system around it, but the dog's throwing up in the background. I said he was feeling ill. Oh. I think I'm going to have to cut this short. Otherwise, I'm going to have vomit everywhere. My apologies. That is, wait a second. That is pretty much it. Wait a second. Let's just the one last thing, and then I've got to go. Sorry. Let's have a look. We've got the right page. Oh dear. Are you all right? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jules. He's not feeling very well today. Let's get this up. 1:16. So target market we talked about, etc. So let's hop through this. We don't. It's just a presentation I've done with other customers, so there's different things that I've said, and it depends on what's relevant for you. Yeah, I know. There's different. We'll get to that later on. You don't need to do this at the moment. I'll talk to you another time about the rest of the stuff. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, it was just something I wrote down because somebody asked me if I was going to sell them anything, and I just said no. I think they were quite shocked. No, no, no. It's quite simple. Either you like what I do, and I'll obviously send you the cards. You take a look at them, and then it's up to you. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean the whole thing is. Sorry, this is not. I'm going to cut this out at the end of the internet piece. So it's usually $6.97 each month. Takes about 6 months to complete the whole piece of work. That's my opinion. So it took me 3, but I'm a bit of I can't really preach if I'm not following every single thing that I'm teaching. Yeah, I've done it. It's like anything, like most things in business. You know, when good people have good ideas, they very often come to the same conclusion. But I wasn't following a system to do it, and it made my life so much easier. Yeah, because you just don't have to think about it. You know, if you talk about referrals, or you're talking about upsells and downsells, it's a bit like you know. So the typical one is McDonald's. Would you like would you like fries with that? Well, there'll be something like that in your business too that you can use. Yeah, yeah. No, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, so I mean, just look at it this way. I mean, you're spending money on stuff. So, for example, your marketing, etc., and that's not working at the moment. But if you actually go through this process and walk through it step by step, there's like a 21-day course, and that alone is is worth, it's priceless, quite frankly, because it gets you to actually go through it step by step. So like, okay, we need to do this, that, and the other, and you just do some writing. It takes a couple of hours a day, if that. And when you're finished, he's throwing up all over the place. I'm gonna have to go in a sec. So when when you've gone through those 21 days, you've got the absolute basics. So the stuff that's low revenue or high impact is totally free, or is just a matter of changing the way you've possibly got things actually written down or in place anyway, and you just haven't used them to your advantage in your business. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 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 sure. No, that's totally up to you. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I was explaining how that works out. So it's basically a recurring subscription. So you pay for it as long as you need it. Like I said, in my opinion, it takes about 6 months. And obviously, if we do stuff like this, and I do other stuff, it's not just the stuff that for example, I've spent 8 grand on on learning properly how to use Facebook and the way that it works. I know the absolute basics from it, and the mechanics of it I've been using for years. Um, but you should learn from the best. And at the moment, I can't say to you, right, okay, I even want to take over what your agency does. I don't think that's not my place. So I mentor on scaling systems, but I'll be doing courses that basically are part of that subscription, and then it's up to you then if you want to actually continue on with that after those 6 months. I think probably if you really want to put put your foot to the metal, and you could probably do it in 4. I'd be very surprised if you could do it any earlier than that. But people are amazing, so I wouldn't underestimate it. But you never know. Yeah, sure. No, no. So if you go to small and local business, all one word.com, yeah, and you can see most of the stuff that we've been talking about. If you go to blog, then there's literally a blog on every single one of these, and I'll send you the guides that we discussed. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can send you the URL. Sure. All right. Okay. Yeah, take a look at it. You can see the options that you've got to of how you want to do it. There's different options. Whether you want to do it as a one single payment or on a month by month basis is up to you. You can either buy 3 months, 6 months, or you can pay on month by month and say, right, okay, then I cancel next week. Sorry, next month. Yeah, you just give me 30 days notice. I'm not. I don't like contracts in that respect. There's no need for it. Yeah, and there's a 30-day money back guarantee as well. Absolutely 100%. You just not, if it's not for you, just tell me and you'll get your money back. It's as long as TransferWise or PayPal. If you give send me the email address that you use for PayPal as well, then I can refund it if you need to. Let's hope we don't get there. No, yeah, sure. No, no, I'm not going to say to you, okay, if you're busy and you say, right, I forgot to cancel this, it's like the third of the month. I'm not going to go and say you can't do that. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I'd say about 6 months. Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Right, I'm now going to go and clean up the dog's nest, and I'll see you later. Yeah, you too, Joss. Have a good day. Bye. Bye.